Put this motherfucker on right quick. Hello. It's Joshua Lamb here, host of this beloved podcast. Still doesn't have a name to this podcast, but you can't tell me shit right now. You want to know why you can't tell me shit? And I'm asking you questions like you can't answer them. It's rhetorical, okay? Because I want to tell you the answer, huh? So listen, the reason you can't tell me shit, actually there's 10 reasons you can't tell me shit. I got 10 subscribers on YouTube. 10 of them. Count them. 2 hands. 2 hands. Both of the hands. Both hands. All fingers on both hands. 10 of them. I'm tapping my leg just thinking about all 10 of those subscribers, all right? Listen, I didn't do this for the fame. I didn't do this for the fame. But when you have 10, your life changes, all right? I mean, I'm walking around, people are yelling my name. People are yelling the no name of the podcast. They're like, that's the guy of the no name podcast. It feels good. I mean, it just feels good. Let's just dive right in. What this isn't your grandmother's fantasy football podcast. So if my grandmother is on right now listening to this, I mean, Grammy and Nan, I'm going to need you to get the hell out of here. Don't get it. I love you both. Don't get out of here, but respectfully, get the hell out of here. Because this is not your grandmother's fantasy football podcast. I'm going to be cursing like a sailor. Listen. Let's dive right in on this because I had a hell of a week. I've had a hell of a week. And one thing that you're going to get from me, especially if you watch the last 2 podcasts, are I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. All right? I'm going to tell you how I feel, why I feel a certain way, why I went a certain way on my lineups, why I did certain things on waiver pickups, whatever it is. But one thing I'm going to tell you is who fucked me and who didn't fuck me. I mean, like I said, no sugarcoating. Somebody's getting fucked. It's either going to be me or it's going to be my opponent. I got fucked this week. Oh, mother, did I get fucked. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? When you head into the week with high hopes, okay, and it turns out to be the week from hell, okay, and I'm not somebody who's constantly looking ahead when it comes to who I'm playing, you know what I mean? I'm not really like worried about it because usually I find solutions, I find answers. I'm a solutions guy. I'm optimistic in all sorts of ways. That's just who I am as a person. So going into this week, I didn't think too much about it. I was like, it's just another week. You know what I mean? It's another week. It's another week for me to show my dominance. The J Shies Love Shacks are going to show their dominance, or the J Chips Love Nuts in my 12-team league are going to show their dominance. Oh boy, was I wrong. Oh. So what I'm getting at is it was the week from hell. So going into this, I'm scheduled to play 2 teams with a combined record of 10-1. I don't like to give too much props to opponents in my league. I don't want them to get too high. But son of a bitch, I don't want them to get too low. Because when they get a little bit too low, I mean, things just get messy. But when they get too high, I got to bring them down a notch. Hey, you hear me? So with that being said, Lucas McDermott. Lucas is his real name. Don't let him tell you otherwise. It's Lucas. GM of the Cockswingers. I mean, the guy has been swinging it around. One thing I will give him is he's been swinging that motherfucker around. I mean, when I say motherfucker, I'm talking about that cock. All right? The cock is being swung left and right. Cock swingers are in full swing. 6-0 after this week. 6-0. This is my first week going 0-2 on the season. I got 2 leagues. 2 leagues I pour my fucking sweat, blood, and tears into. I mean, I'm sweating right now. See, I'm wearing a sweatshirt. It's 50 degrees out in this bitch. It's Florida weather. Winter time. But I'm sweating. I'm not wearing a shirt underneath. So it's like dripping down like my sides. You know when you're wearing a sweatshirt and you don't wear like the underneath and like there's nowhere for the sweat to drip onto? That's what's going on. It's sliding on down my inner parts of the midsection. It's kind of getting up into the draws and stuff. It's very uncomfortable. But this maroon is popping on me. I'm telling you one thing. This maroon's my color. I mean, and for the people watching on YouTube, yes, yeah, it is. Like you can tell. So back on track. Man. Luke McDermott, starting off 5-0 in the league. We're going into a very intense week. 4-1 versus 5-0. The J-Shags, Love Shacks going against the Cockswingers. This is the problem. This is the problem with fantasy. When you have more than one league, it is very hard to keep together the same people from one league to another. So so as to say, I have Jalen Hurts and Christian McCaffrey in my 10-team league. Just an example. I did not get them in my 12-man league. So anytime I go against Jalen, anytime I go against CMC, I call them by their first names, Christian, because they're my guys. So, but when that happens and I play against them, it's a double-edged sword. I'm fucking, but I'm getting fucked left and right. Every time they touch the ball, score a touchdown, I'm fucking. But on the other side, I'm getting fucked. And that was the problem with this week. Because when I'm talking about Jalen Hurts, Christian McCaffrey, DK Metcalf, being on my 10-man league, go over to my 12-man league, and the guy, Josh Mazel, he has those exact players. Those are some of his 3 top stars. So it wasn't looking too good when I was looking at it from an outside perspective of how I was going to be able to manage this week. Like, what the hell am I going to do? Because if I'm playing well in one with the guys that I have, I'm probably going to lose the other. So I was pretty set on if I could go 1-1 this week, I'll be happy. Okay? So to jump into our matchup of how I did this week, solid. I ended up putting about 120 up on the board in my 10-man league. Jalen Hurts got me 17, CMC got me 23, doing what he does. Leonard Fournette got me 22. And then you get down to the fucking roller coaster of DK Nutsack Calf. I mean, guy, you can't be projected 16 and a half and then not catch a pass until like the third quarter and end up with 5.4 on me, bro. You can't do it, especially when DK Metcalf, yes, he's in my other league, but listen, when I'm in a tight, wound up matchup with the Cockswingers, that's 5-0, I need something out of you. CeeDee Lamb does the same damn thing, projected 17. He gets me 13. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it because my shithead was DK Metcalf, and that's just the bottom line. So I can't be too mad at my cousin CeeDee Lamb. I ended up trading for David Njoku. I traded away Gerald Everett, and who else did I trade away? Gerald Everett and who was it? Who did I trade away? Gerald Everett, and I'll tell you right now. Who I traded away. I traded away Gerald Everett and Darrell Henderson. Picked up Harold Henderson as soon as I saw about the craziness that's going around with Cam Akers. So I was like, let me try to get some value for this guy. Can I get some value for Darrell Henderson? I wasn't sold on Gerald Everett. David Njoku was just showing a lot more consistency, especially after Everett boned me last week with 1.2 points. Boned me. I mean, you can't get in there and really fuck me like that and expect for us to be like nothing happened. Yeah, nothing happened on the football field because you gave me nothing. I mean, so I ended up having to trade away Gerald Everett and Darrell Henderson for somebody who I think can give me a little bit more consistency in David Njoku. He got me 8.8. I'm content with that at a tight end position. It's okay. But that brings me to Breece Hall, a guy that I picked up in both leagues on 2 trades that I felt really, really good about. He ends up getting me 20.1. I'm very content with that. That brings me down to the Bengals D, who ends up getting me 0. Gets me 0 against the New Orleans Saints, man, who have no one right now. No one. Michael Thomas is gone. Jarvis Landry's out. When I say Michael Thomas is gone, he's just out. He's hurt. He's not gone, but he's out, which means he's gone. Jarvis Landry, out. Who else was out? Jameis Winston was out. I mean, we got the Red Rocket back there and Andy Dalton. And I'm like, Bengals, you can't do me wrong here with all these shitheads not playing. They go out, projected 6, and they give me 0. They let him score 26 and like a shitload of yards. Didn't really get me much on the sack in the sack operation. I mean, get me like a sack or something. Did they even sack him? I don't even know if they sacked him, bro. They gave me shit. New Orleans put up 399 yards with no turnovers. I mean, you can't get me 0, bro. You got to give me something. So, with that being said, looking over at Luke's turnout, I'm not going to lie. He had some guys out this week, and I was feeling pretty confident because of it. But with that being said, going back to having guys in another league and then having them in your league, he had Michael Pittman. I have Michael Pittman in my other league. So that's another double-edged sword that is just jabbing me from both sides. I'm jabbing, getting jabbed, jabbing, getting jabbed. He ends up putting up 26 points. Yeah, it's great for one league, but it sucks for the other. I mean, I could not win. I could not win on that. So looking at that, not only did Michael Pittman do great for him, but he got a blessing from God, just a gift that laid in his lap. He picked up Ramondre Stevenson weeks ago. Damian Harris goes out with a hamstring injury like last week. Everybody knows that Ramondre Stevenson is a guy, if he wasn't splitting carries, he's probably a top 10 back all year. All year. Guy's a stud. He gets the ball in the pass game. He can run the damn thing. I mean, he's somebody who people like Belichick loves him. I mean, if you're a running back and you can't catch the ball in Belichick's offense, you're probably not going to play. And Ramondre Stevenson is that guy. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. Damian Harris doesn't get a lot of pass usage. So even with Damian Harris out, Ramondre Stevenson's like a solid flex, I guess. Damian Harris being out was the game changer for this week. Ramondre Stevenson went from a solid flex to like a solidified RB1. Yes, projected 16, which isn't anything crazy. He goes out and gets him 25. 25. Derrick Henry was out, which is why he had to use Stevenson. And yeah, Derrick Henry, yeah, he could potentially give you 25. Like, it's definitely not an uncommon thing for him to do. But for Stevenson to come off as a flex bench player and Luke to just get a fucking gift of Damian Harris's little tightened up hammies to be too tight and pop. I mean, bro, 25 points from a guy who's a streamer for the week because Damian Harris is out. I mean, it blew my mind. And in the fourth quarter, when they are already up by 2 touchdowns with 3 minutes to go, and they're on the goal line. They're like first and goal. Stevenson is out first down and second down. He's out. I was like, good. They're probably putting the starters out. I'm Gucci. They didn't get any yards in that first and second down. He already had 18 points at that point. Third down, they bring him back in. 8 yards, tutty. Another touchdown. Brings him up to 25. I mean, bro. I'm watching this. While I'm watching this, I'm like, this son of a bitch is going to score again. I mean, if you're having each guy score, you probably have a good chance of winning that week. Because not only did Ramondre Stevenson score, Michael Pittman, yes, he did not score, but he had like 13 catches for like 130 yards or some shit like that. And then Amari Cooper gets his ass just saved, just like another gift on a shit week. I think he had like 4 receptions for like 44 yards, but then he scores a touchdown, jumps him up to about 15. The only reason he had to use Amari Cooper because Amon-Ra St. Brown was also on a fucking bye. I was feeling great coming into this week, but because these dickheads are getting the ball in the end zone, I was speechless. Every time I would check the fantasy football app, it would go from like 6 points to 14. It would jump up it would just jump like crazy just because of a shitty garbage time touchdown, or they would sneak in for some bullshit on a day that really wasn't as good as it was supposed to be because of a touchdown. It pisses me off. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. This damn sweatshirt was a terrible mistake. Man, I'm heated right now just thinking about it. because looking at it, projections were very close all Sunday. All Sunday projections were really, really close. Devontae Smith ended up getting into the end zone for him as well. So let's count it. Barkley scored a touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson scored 2. Amari Cooper scored a touchdown. Devontae Smith scored a touchdown. So you're telling me, and Patrick Mahomes, of course he threw for a couple tutties. I don't know how many, but he ended up getting them fucking 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of his skill guys scored a touchdown plus. Off rip, that's 6 to 12 points off rip. I mean, goodness gracious, it was so much going on, and he has a stacked team. I'm not gonna lie, he has a really, really good team. Saquon Barkley was an incredible pickup. He could be the RB1 of the year. Derrick Henry, Amon-Ra St. Brown coming back after the bye. I mean, he has a good team. He ended up going 6-0. The cockswingers, like I said, are swinging like a son of a bitch. The son of a bitch is swinging that thing around. I mean, this is a guy that I consider a best friend. Kid's one of my best friends. But for him to come into my house, I mean, he lives in Arizona. He didn't come into my house, but he came into my fantasy home, my fantasy where I feel the most safe, and he took his cock around and he swung that motherfucker around to the point where I couldn't even see. So much cock swinging. The damn cock swingers were out. And he's 6-0, and I know he is so cocky about it. The Cockswingers GM is so cocky about this shit. Somebody needs to bring him down. And it's going to end up being me, I'm telling you. I'm going to see you in the playoffs, and I'm going to smack that ass. Consider that ass smacked when I see you in the playoffs. Guaranteed. Because I'm telling you, this lineup's going to do big things. I'm telling you right now. With my fucking lineup, I'm gonna working on getting that wide receiver 2 figured out. DK Metcalf, I'm not sold on. We'll see. But I did pick up Harrison Butker. Great pickup. Got me 11. I'm not gonna talk too much about the damn kickers, but kickers are slept on. Kickers are really slept on, especially after young hoes got me no points. Young ho, no points. Does that work? Young ho, no points? Because I don't even want to get into it, but yes, a solid kicker will always make your team that much better, especially if I'm jumping from 0 points from Young Hoes to 11. So, Harrison Butker, thank you for coming back off of injury. We're good on that. So, that brings me to my second league, my 12-team league. And this was a tough one, man. This was just tough to watch. I didn't feel great coming into this because I'm not going to lie. Josh Mazel, he put together a squad that in a 12-team league, man, it's like hard to be projected like over 120. Like over 120 is like, okay, like my guys are looking real solid. You know what I mean? This guy's projected like 130 every week in a 12-team league when like the next closest guy is sitting at about like 120. You know what I mean? So he has an advantage off rip of just the caliber of guys he has because of his fucking tight end decisions that he made, which were still asinine to me, but it's working out like a son of a bitch. And on top of that, he has all my fucking guys from my 10-team league. I mean, I can't win it. I couldn't win this week. There was no winning. And if I won one, I was losing the other. So let's get into it. To start off, I love playing in this 12-team league. It challenges you fantasy football wise when it comes to, oh shit, I almost lost that whole video. Give me a damn 20% fucking battery life thing. So I love this fantasy football league. The 12 team, you really have to have skill, fantasy football skill, to be able to be competent and be able to compete. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I mean, the guys that we have in this league are stand-up guys. They're stand-up guys. I mean, you want to know a guy who's stand-up, who's a stand-up guy? One of my subscribers, one of my 10 subscribers, 10 count, Trevor Duke. Trevor Duke out there in Denver. Guy he's a man amongst boys. He's a stallion amongst donkeys. is that a saying? A stallion amongst donkeys? I mean, he's the Seabiscuit compared to, I don't know, pick a horse that isn't Seabiscuit. Compare him. I can guarantee you Seabiscuit's a little bit better. Trevor Duke, you're a stud. I love you, brother. Keep tuning in. That's just the kind of guys we have in this league. All right. So to get down to it, I had to go Geno Smith in the starting quarterback spot because Derek Carr was shit in the bed. Dameon Pierce was out on bye. Amon-Ra St. Brown was also out on bye. Looking at my squad, I knew it was going to be a tough week, especially because Jonathan Taylor was still questionable. Didn't know what I was going to get from them. So one thing I will say, I knew there was a chance that I was not going to have Jonathan Taylor. Where was I going to pivot? Because, ooh, man, a little burpee over here. What's going on? You know what I mean? So with that being said, I knew I was going to have to pivot at some point if Jonathan Taylor was out, especially with Dameon Pierce being on bye. I didn't have a running back to really solidify that RB2 position. So looking at that, when I'm holding Cordero Patterson in that IR spot, Jonathan Taylor's going to be hurt. Rashad White, I'm not going to play him unless something goes on with Leonard Fournette, knock on wood, because that's my other star in my other league. So I knew if he was out, I'm going to have to find somebody to fill that position. In 12-team league, there's nobody on waivers. I mean, it's bottom of the barrel. It's like, you know that kid that I talked about a couple days ago, like last podcast? It was actually his birthday the other day. Shout out Ridge. Shout out Trevor Duke again. You know, these are my guys. Shout out Ridge. Happy birthday, brother. But he's a garbage man. He's a fantasy garbage black hole of a man. It's like him. Finding him on waivers and having him run the ball a little bit. I mean, that's what you're getting on waivers in this 12-team league. And as soon as JT went out, I knew that the Jackson guy, the other running back for Indianapolis, was probably going to be out. He was probably already going to be picked up from the week before. So I ended up grabbing Phillip Lindsay. I mean, when you have Phillip Lindsay as your wide receiver too, going against arguably the best team in the league, other than the J-Ships Love Nuts. The odds are stacked. The odds are stacked against you, Bubs. And especially when you're looking at Breece Hall being your RB1, and I think he has RB1 upside. Don't get me wrong, but he's my RB3 in my other league. He's my flex in my other league. That just goes to show you how down bad I was this week. In this 12-team league, Geno Smith, Breece Hall, Phillip Lindsay, Michael Pittman gave me some great points. Yes. Screwed me in another league. I had to go Garrett Wilson because Amon-Ra St. Brown was on bye. And in the flex, because Dameon Pierce and Jonathan Taylor were out, Dameon Pierce on bye, Jonathan Taylor hurt, I had to go Romeo Doubs. I mean, these are guys that have very high upside. Garrett Wilson gets me 1.8. One catch, 8 yards, straight fucking me. What am I going to do with my wide receiver 2s getting me 1.8? The question is nothing. I mean, you're going to lose unless everybody else is snapping, which is not the fucking case. I ended up scoring 81 points this week in my 12-team league. 81! Oh my God. 81 points? That's a fucking travesty. I was so down bad by the end of the first 1 o'clock games. I stopped even looking at my 12-team league fantasy outputs. There was no point. There was no point because the only person that was giving me points was Michael Pittman in that 12-team league. And it's funny, if I wanted to just check his scores, I could just look at my 10-team league because I was getting fucked by him, by the cockswingers, swinging it around. So it was the week from hell. I was going against my own players the whole week. Kyle Pitts comes out. This was my first time being able to use him. I was very excited about it. He gets me 10.9 on like a touchdown. He ends up scoring. I mean, I only think he had like a couple catches for like 19 yards or something like that. So it wasn't like super promising, but shit. I mean, maybe they'll start using him a little bit more, knowing damn well he can get in the end zone. Romeo Doubs gets me 6.1. There's not much you can say about it. There's not much you can say about it other than chalk it up to just a week from hell. You can't win these weeks when you're practically playing yourself. That's what it felt like. I was pretty much playing myself the whole fucking week because of just the matchup situation. Especially when the matchups I were playing were very solid, very, very solid teams. And guys that I anticipate smacking that ass in the playoffs. Hear me first. I want you to hear me. Hear me loud and clear here. If you're not hearing me clear, listen up a little clear here. You know what I mean? So, Josh Mazel, Lucas McDermott, you're getting these hands in the playoffs. I don't give a damn, Mazel, if you have Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. I don't give a shit, okay? And for the people listening on the podcast, when I say shit, I'm like swinging my head around because that's how confident I am. My feet are tapping and shit. I am so confident to give these motherfuckers the pause in playoffs because the squad is coming together oh so nicely. Okay? So with that being said, Mazel throws up, he ends up beating me by more than 40. Let's just say that. That's all I want to say. I don't want to get too far into it. But going to this next week, man, I have very high hopes because looking at it, I'm going to have my full squad. I'm going to have my full squad this coming week. And I'm very excited about it. It's going to be my first time really having my first time having my full squad. So I have Geno Smith, Damian Pierce, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kyle Pitts, Breece Hall. I'm projected 128. And what I said earlier, 12-team leagues, it's hard to just crack the 120s. I'm getting up to them 130s, you heard me? So with that being said, I am in a strong position. And I'm moving up the projected wires when it comes to like final standings. I know those are bullshit because I ended up, when I drafted this team, they had me at 12. 12 out of 12. Look at me now, I'm at 4. 4! Oh, that's fucking playoff contender. That's championship talk, Eric. So with that being said, I'm very happy with where I'm at with the J-Chip Loves Nuts. Yes, I'm 3-3, but when I say I have just guys ready to go. And I'm not going to lie, my matchup this week is Avery. It's actually our league commissioner. Great man, but I'm coming for that ass. But looking at the other set of teams in this 12-team league, of course, everybody else has a shitload of guys out on buys, other than the guy I'm facing. I'm facing a full squad, which, yes, it's okay because, listen, I don't want anybody's worst. I want everybody's best because, listen, I'm a little bit better. When I say a little, I mean a lot, okay? So, also, I got DeAndre Hopkins coming back this week from his suspension. Very excited to have him on my bench, ready to rock, plug and play whenever I need him. Okay, going over to my 10-team league and who I'm going to be rocking with that 12-team league, I did end up adding the Broncos for my defense, Ryan Suckup for my kicker. Ryan Suckup has been surprisingly really, really solid for fantasy. Very happy about that pickup, and the Broncos D is going with the Jets. Happy about that pickup as well. Also, with the waiver wire pickup, I picked up Elijah Mitchell, IR guy. My guy's on the IR, should be coming back within the next couple weeks. And I may have picked up a legitimate RB2, fringe RB1. Very excited about it. Anybody watching from my 12-team league, hearing these words about Elijah Mitchell being picked up off of waivers with Jeff Wilson about to be on the fucking back burner, I'm very excited about it. Elijah Mitchell, you're in there like swimwear, okay? So moving over to my 10-team league and where we're working on with that and my waiver wire pickups. So this week, I got Jalen Hurts on bye. It's going to hurt me. Even though I got Jalen Hurts on bye, I haven't even picked up a quarterback yet. I'm still projected about 113. I mean, if I get anybody who's averaging 17, I'm still up to that 130-point waiver wire. I'm going to have to find somebody. It's probably going to be like I don't even know, bro. Trash. If you're not getting the studs quarterbacks, man, and you're on the bottom looking in, because, I mean, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, yes, they're out this week. I mean, there's not a ton of streamers, and I don't hold quarterbacks. One thing I don't do is hold quarterbacks. I think it's crazy. Why would I do that when I go high upside guys? High upside studs. I want studs like, if you're talking studs, I want you to talk about studs that resemble studs such as myself. I mean, look at this. Have you seen this maroon on me? Guys, listening on the podcast, I'm wearing such a crispy maroon me sweatshirt. This sweatshirt is so crispy, and the maroon is just reflecting off of this olive skin. Don't get me started on it. I want studs like that. So with that being said, I'm looking solid in this 10-team league. I'm going to have to pick up that quarterback, Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette, DK Metcalf. I need something out of you guys because I don't want to have to keep looking for a replacement for you. CeeDee Lamb, David Njoku, Breece Hall. Ended up picking up Patriots defense going into Chicago. Really like that pickup. Excited about that. On the bench, I didn't make any other pickups on that end. I'm happy with my team right now. I think I'm going to have to maybe make a pivot for a wide receiver 2 at some point. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to monitor the TK Metcalf situation. But that's where I'm going to wrap it up. I don't want to make this too long. 30 minutes is a little bit more than I wanted to go over. But listen, I got a lot to say. And like I said, you need to hear it. Because these words that are coming out, man, they are butter. I can hear myself in these headphones. And listen, this guy's voice, it's butter. It's butter smooth, okay? So you're welcome. No, not you're welcome. I'm very grateful for anybody who's watching this podcast. Let me pivot real quick. I don't want to be an asshole. Just to wrap it up, this is Joshua Lamb, Fantasy Football Podcast. This is not your grandmother's Fantasy Football Podcast. You heard it here first. I'm going to be trying to do this every Wednesday, drop it every Wednesday. And just have fun with you guys. I want you to come on here, give me your insights, drop some comments, whatever. I mean, if you want to subscribe. I mean, if you want, who am I? Who am I to tell you no? Okay, that's the thing. I'm not gonna. So if you want to join in the fun, get some entertainment, listen to me being an asshole, talk about some shit and how these guys are constantly ruining my weekends. Because that's what it is. My weekends sucked this weekend. All I could think about was these matchups. Matchups come, I get fucked. So Monday Night Football comes, I was completely disengaged because I knew I already got fucked. My whole weekend was screwed. I'm having a shitty week now because I'm thinking about last week. I mean, Jesus, fantasy football, I love you, but God, do I hate you. So for the people that love and hate fantasy football, come join in the fun, hang out with your boy. Like I said, Joshua Lamb here. I'm going to work on having a fucking name for this podcast at some point. But yeah, tune in. Much love, and see you next week.